we have the next speaker lined up for the day, and it's a fascinating talk from Bala Venkatrao, the head of product enterprise at Atlassian, on the journey through very uncertain times.
It's great to be here. I'm super excited to join this conference. I didn't know what I was signing up for. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning in California. So clearly I'm excited to join you folks and many other folks who have joined this conference across the globe. So my name is Bala Venkatrao. I'm the head of product enterprise at Atlassian. And you've heard us talk about the progress we're making on our cloud journey. So today I'm delighted to share how Atlassian Cloud can serve as the technological underpinning of transformation for many customers and partners like you, and how we can help unleash the teams despite uncertain times. So join me in this presentation and I'll kind of walk you through all the things we're doing to enable our customers onto the journey to the cloud. The world is forcing change, and we have witnessed this firsthand. I think through the last year and this year, we've seen how the COVID pandemic has made us realize change is inevitable and organizations need to embrace change. It's just not the unpredictability of what's to come. It's also the velocity and pace of change that's creating silos and inefficiencies with your biggest assets, your people. But the most resilient businesses and teams use this opportunity to grow and transform. Over the last year, Atlassian had to self-reflect on the same front. How do we adapt quickly to help our customers maintain a competitive edge? How can we help you grow through adverse or uncertain times? And how can we keep innovating on your behalf? In response, we've sharpened our focus as a cloud-first company. To deliver a world-class experience for customers, we've shifted our R&D resources and have simplified our server and data center offerings. We haven't made this decision lightly. However, we truly believe that this is the best option to enable organizations to build more flexible, resilient, and innovative paths into the future. The majority of our customers are already benefiting from our cloud today. In fact, more than 90% of the customers get started on the cloud, and many more customers are migrating their server and data center deployments of Atlassian to the cloud platform. Cloud is not new to Atlassian. We've been in this journey for the last 10 years. We launched cloud back in 2012, and over the last 8 to 10 years, we've launched an array of products, including Access for Security, our cloud standard product, the cloud premium product, and then most recently, we've announced the cloud enterprise offering to meet the requirements of largest of enterprise customers worldwide. So customers of all types are leveraging the Atlassian solutions ranging from Agile and DevOps, ITSM, and work management for all to achieve teamwork at scale. I think the gentleman earlier just kind of talked about how teamwork is complex and you need a basis to make teams work together, and Atlassian provides you the fabric and the fundamentals to make that a reality. All of our solutions, ranging from the Agile, DevOps, ITSM, and work management, are all built on our enterprise-grade cloud platform that gives you capabilities around security, compliance, scale, performance, unified administrative controls, and app extensibility. So let's kind of double click. This is the DevOps conference. I thought it's only appropriate to double click on Atlassian's view of DevOps and the DevOps lifecycle that we see in our customer organizations. Atlassian, so here are some of the core tenets that we believe from the DevOps strategy. We firmly believe that there's no single vendor will deliver all of the tools, as this space moves really quickly and new innovations are unleashed like every so often. TOOLCHAIN needs to be built around hot swappable components, so we give flexibility for our customers to select the best of the breed. Developers will always seek out the best tools out there that help them create value, and no one company will own them all. Agility is required Agility requires level of developer autonomy, but businesses require coordination. You need both, not one or the other. Many vendors say code is at the center of work. We disagree at Atlassian. We feel while code is important, but not everyone works on software projects, interacts, or reads code. Code is the center for developers, but work collaboration, we kind of talk about it as unit of work, is what is at the center of teams and the company. And we really strongly believe in this philosophy, and we feel how Jira gives you the ability to break down your work into small components and interact and integrate with other tools that are available as part of your deployments. So this is the familiar DevOps lifecycle that many of you on the call will be quite familiar with. It entails the entire process from planning to building to continuous integration and deployment to monitoring operation and continuous feedback. If you overlay the Atlassian products, we have a portfolio of the products that many of you today are already using as part of your DevOps lifecycle. But at Atlassian, we strongly believe again in the whole notion of best of breed. While you can leverage the Atlassian products, you can very well integrate with other products as part of the ecosystem to give you this open tool chain for bringing your DevOps lifecycle to life. How do we make all of our solutions possible? So we have enabled the entire product suite and we offer it via subscriptions, the cloud subscriptions, and you can leverage these subscriptions depending upon your needs of the organization, starting from the free tier to the standard tier to cloud premium. And then most recently, we've launched the cloud enterprise offering. So when we looked at our cloud platform, Atlassian as a company, we've made a ton of progress over the last several years. Back in 2018, when we surveyed our customers, there were a lot of gaps in our products and portfolio in terms of the capabilities that we would offer in the cloud. In fact, in 2018, we had only 20% of all the requirements that we were fulfilling based on the demands that we were seeing from our customer base. Fast forward today, we have made a lot of progress in terms of fulfilling many of those requirements. And today I'm proud to say that we have addressed almost 60% of these requirements and well on our way to get to 75% of the requirements in the next couple of years. This should give confidence for many of you out there who are on our cloud deployments today or are looking to move to the cloud, that Atlassian Cloud is steadily adding from the enterprise perspective, whether it's around scale, requirements, or compliance perspective, or security. Some of these requirements, as many of you might be familiar, would be things like HIPAA compliance or SOC compliance, or in the US, it's around FedRAMP compliance, and also about scale. Over the last few years, we have steadily increased the scale that we can support on our cloud, starting from 5K users per instance, going all the way to like 10K. And then just recently, we've announced the EAP plans for 20K, and we fully intend to get to 35,000 users in a given instance. In fact, our current subscription around Cloud Enterprise can support any scale enterprise. And then later in this presentation, I'll talk about an architecture that supports that scale. So let's talk about the cloud advantage. Why should many of you look to the Atlassian cloud? Let's kind of double click on why the Atlassian cloud matters even more as our customers face headwinds and uncertainty around every corner. Let me start with a few customer examples to show you how exactly they've embraced our cloud and the ROI they've seen, or the benefits they've seen from embracing our cloud products. Rockwell Automation is a storied company in the world, and they've been leveraging, and Atlassian has been key to bringing the teams together and modernizing how work is done. Over the years, they've acquired many server-based technologies and legacy methodologies that hindered productivity, collaboration, and innovation. To address these growths and modernize their processes, Rockwell adopted agile practices and partnered with Atlassian to migrate to a cloud suite of engineering solutions. Redfin is another, it's a top brokerage company in the US, real estate brokerage company in the US, and they had to adapt and modify their business model as the pandemic hit us worldwide. And using, again, the Atlassian DevOps product suite on the cloud, they were able to quickly unleash a new set of products that enabled virtual home tours and 3D solutions to their customers. All that was possible because they were able to embrace the agility and the productivity by leveraging the Atlassian cloud products. So let's kind of think through what are the other benefits of leveraging the cloud? And it kind of boils down to two areas. It's all about bringing your teams together and helping them be much more productive and getting their work done. So we unify the teamwork by breaking down the silos. The biggest advantage of the cloud, it gives all your end users and developers to be on the common platform. Secondly, it helps you scale your work much more efficiently. So let's double click on few of the key features and value proposition on our cloud that relate to some of these themes. The first thing is around native desktop apps. So with cloud, all types of teams today are distributed, whether they are remote or work in different devices. But with the cloud, you have the ability to leverage them as native desktop products. Mobile, I think this is one of the key value props of the cloud offering is it doesn't really matter. It doesn't like require you to be in your office, but you can work from anywhere. And I think the pandemic has showed us that this is more important today than ever before. With the cloud products, the mobile experience becomes the norm for many of your employees. And with the cloud mobile capabilities, you don't require a VPN, making it convenient, but also it's balanced with security. To keep work moving across the teams, users can collaborate on Confluence Mobile without missing a beat. Hassle-free access makes it easy to jump right back into your work, whether it's creating or editing pages with our modernized editor or responding to time-sensitive comments. Collaboration. Efficient collaboration is vital in helping businesses move quickly. The power of Confluence Cloud is further amplified when you can collaborate with teams both inside and outside your company. Whether you work with partners, vendors, contractors, or clients, we made it easy to bring them into your fold with the right security guardrails as part of our cloud solutions. Smarts. I think artificial intelligence has been quite a buzzword, as many of you know. At Atlassian, we have made a pragmatic use of machine learning and AI across our entire product suite. We call it Smarts. Some of the examples of how artificial intelligence manifests in the product includes the Jira picker, where it intelligently points out to the people you need to collaborate with, or also helps you fill in your next issue status and even search. When you kind of look at the cloud search is supercharged because again, we leverage pragmatic machine learning that helps you find the right content at the right time. And this greatly amplifies both collaboration and productivity of your end users. Automation, right? As you're kind of thinking about, as I mentioned, there are two key categories around leveraging the cloud I was highlighting on. One is around unifying work, and the other is around automation. With the Jira Cloud, automation is seamlessly built in as part of your product, which means you don't need to spend extra time buying and installing or managing the scripts. It's built right into the product, uh, facilitating all the automation for your routine processes. In fact, when we asked customers to help quantify how much ROI they get from automation, a majority of our admins saved at least 6 hours per month, if not more, in complex workflows. And 11% have said automation saves the end users more than 51 hours a month. Just do the math for yourself. If you add up across all your user base and the amount of time they save, you can leverage all of the time to build business solutions to solve your business challenges rather than kind of doing the routine manual work, which automation can very well take care of. And guess what? Saving time makes people happy, and automation features have a CSAT of well over 90%. Last, we also introduced the cloud enterprise edition, and that's got a chock full of capabilities to enable enterprises to embrace the cloud. Some of the features and capability as part of this subscription include things like data residency, a single sign-on, a release management, and a sandbox, which gives you the ability to to embrace the changes that our cloud platform offers in a manner that suits your organization. We also offer higher SLAs as part of the enterprise tier, whether it's 99.9 all the way and going up to 99.95, and automated user provisioning. So all of these features and capabilities are fundamental for enterprises as they embark on the journey to the cloud. So this is the architecture I was mentioning earlier as part of the presentation. If you look at, we can support organizations of any scale, ranging from like hundreds of users to tens of thousands of users. And even if you have even if you are an organization with 50,000, 100,000 users today, we have an architecture that you can embrace and get started with the cloud. So here's an architecture representation of like an organization with 100K users who can get started with the cloud, including leveraging Jira Align that kind of gives them a strategic visibility of the overall processes and work that's happening within the organization. So Jira Align is our capability that helps you link your strategy to execution. Building a top-down link to strategy and execution, it's a shared platform for enterprise transformation, which aggregates work across team levels, tools, and provides greater visibility alignment across the entire organization. So if you haven't come across Jira Align, I highly recommend that you take a look at those capabilities. I think it ties back to the previous presenter talking about how do you understand how work is getting done within the organization. Jira helps you look at work or look at unit of work, and Jira Align helps you connect those work and tie it back to your overall company strategy. So our solutions enable all the critical elements, but even more importantly, allowing you to integrate the various tools within your ecosystem. And I think this goes back to the core of what Atlassian believes in. We strongly believe in the best of breed. So we offer you products and technology to solve your problems, but we also are fully cognizant and aware that you need to integrate our products with other products that are already available in your organization. In addition to the integration, we also have a rich ecosystem or a marketplace where you can where you can get a lot of extensibility for our current products and leverage our products in a meaningful way to solve your problems. And then most recently, for customers who also want to be able to build bespoke apps on our cloud platform, we've built the components you need into our brand new extensibility framework. We're calling it Atlassian Forge. Forge empowers all developers to customize the Atlassian products to their specific needs and create new solutions and cross-functional workflows that helps teams work better together. All of these efforts collectively serve a singular purpose. We want your teams to do their best work while you scale your organization. When I routinely talk to customers, they mention that they value the Atlassian products because it helps them solve the problem for the developers and also reduces the friction for the buyers. And because of all the enhancements and the enhancements that we made to our cloud platform, we're seeing a rapid adoption of the cloud platform, and many customers are migrating to this platform. In fact, we continue to keep doubling down in terms of our features and capability. As I echoed before, we still have work to do in terms of providing capabilities around compliance and data residency and support for HIPAA, and those are the things that are steadily being earmarked as part of our future roadmaps. But we are fully cognizant that for some organizations, it might be overbearing to move to the cloud right away, and they may decide to stay back within the firewall. And for those customers, we continue to support them via our data center offering. So we're being pragmatic here and giving customers the option to leverage the cloud. But then if they cannot move to the cloud for some reason, they can continue to run the Atlassian products on our data center products. If you're interested to learn more about our roadmap, I highly recommend that you go and visit our public website. We made the effort to make all of our roadmap available on our website so folks can consume. And feel free to reach out to me or anyone in the Atlassian organization, and we are happy to connect you to the right product managers to have a much more detailed conversation in terms of the features and capabilities that we are delivering as part of our roadmap. Lastly, we're also kind of providing you tools and capability and resources to help you on the migration journey. We fully understand that it is a complex endeavor and it's going to take many weeks or months to be able to take your workloads running on-prem and move it to the cloud. So check out all the resources that we have available on our website. And we also are working closely with our partners to help our customers on this migration journey. So at this point, I would love to actually give a shout out to FE Code. So FE Code has been one of our trusted partners for many years, and in fact, they've been working with many of our customers on the cloud migration journey. So we totally see this as a partnership between Atlassian, our partners like FE Code, and the customers to be able to embrace our journey to the cloud. I would love to kind of pause and see if there are any questions from folks on the conference or on the chat, and I'm happy to take those.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. We're going to take a few of the more general questions. Lapa, you go first.
Bala, thank you for the presentation. And before I open or go through the questions from the audience, I want to authoritatively ask you one additional question, which looks at the Atlassian's cloud strategy as a whole. And it would be so rare to have this opportunity to ask this question. How do you see the business case and the opportunity for Atlassian for going to the cloud? So what is the biggest motivator or the biggest pulling factor for Atlassian itself to implement the cloud strategy? So that would be my first, and then we would go to the questions from the audience.
No, it's a great question, right? I think the movement to the cloud is more driven from the customers, right? It's not from Atlassian. It's not like we are saying, hey, we want to kind of go to the cloud. But more looking at the market, looking at the customers. Cloud is a net better platform, right? Cloud kind of gives more flexibility and agility to the customers. Like customers come back and say, we don't want to be in the business of hosting your software. We don't want to deploy it in the data center. We don't want to manage the servers. We don't want to be in the data center. We want to solve our business problems. Can Atlassian provide your tools and capability as a service? So I think that movement to the cloud that across the board, not just for Atlassian, right? Whether it's you're looking at the infrastructure side of things or whether you're seeing platform vendors, everybody is kind of embracing this notion of the cloud because net, it gives enterprise customers or any customer the ability to focus on their business problems. So taking that page from what our customers are asking for, we are embracing that strategy, providing a cloud-first product and capability, and we fully intend to make our cloud experience the most superior experience for all of our customers.
There's an interesting question from Mads Baggesen. He asks, you mentioned that 11% says that automation saves more than 51 hours a month for their users. And I'm not sure if this is a cheeky question, but which tasks do they automate that take so much time? Do you have any idea of the breakdown of tasks?
Yeah, so there are a lot of these routine tasks. If somebody is using Jira, will be quite familiar, right? Things like if you have to change the status and that kind of triggers a bunch of workflows. Today, if you haven't built all of the automation, you have to do that manually. And in fact, just this morning, I was kind of talking to one of the largest insurance providers within the US. And they mentioned that all of their workflow business processes are automated using Jira and the automation capability. So that flexibility is what we kind of provide, right? Otherwise, there are breaks in the workflow. When a work gets done, it needs to get passed over and somebody needs to kind of Slack to the other person or email them. And each point, there is inefficiency. So if we can root out the inefficiencies and make it smoother, it's going to improve your overall business process a lot more faster.
Mm.
For those who are using data center, there was an interesting conversation in the chat whether you can run data center infrastructure on the Kubernetes. And there was already a comment from somebody online saying that you can run Confluence Kubernetes with something called Ask. So if you search Ask think it's something like Atlassian services or Kubernetes on Kubernetes. That could be one way to approach that. There is another question related to the data residency, which I think is already in the roadmap. If you could just refer to that out loud for everybody.
Yeah,
Especially for the EU customers.
That's a good question. No, I think I get the question often when I'm kind of talking to customers in EMEA and specifically in Germany and other places. Data residency is important, right? Because you need to align with the country laws. And many organizations who are using our products in a mission critical fashion, they have to adhere by the government laws, but the data can't flow outside the country. So we have made a commitment to have our cloud data residence. So when you spin up the Jira cloud, we will guarantee that the data resides in that country. And we just made an announcement, I think 2 weeks back, talking about our plans. So starting probably in the fall of this year, first and foremost, we made 2 announcements. One is data residency will be available across all of our editions, regardless of regardless of which subscription you go after, whether it's the standard or the premium or enterprise. So that's one. Second is we are kind of making data residency available in different regions. Today, it's already available for the US and EMEA. So if you're in the larger EMEA region, we can guarantee that the data remains in that region. As we go forward through this calendar year and next beginning sort of next year, we will light up different regions. That includes Australia, Germany, Japan, United Kingdom, and so on and so forth, right? So as we go through these different quarters, we will give you additional flexibility where you can pin you can pin your data in a specific country of your choice. And you should feel free to look at the roadmap, the links that I had kind of like posted as part of the slides. And if you go and look at like compliance and data residency, you'll also see all the regions that we're planning to light up in the coming quarters.
And this is truly one of the perks of this being a virtual conference, because you have all of the specialists, all of the folks answering your question throughout the day. But Lapa, I think you have the final question for this session.
Yes, there was a question, or actually there was a comment saying that, talking about this closing the chasm between the practitioners and the management in the earlier session, but I think is as much relevant here, which was how can we help an individual DevOps engineer make the argument for the management to help them switch to the cloud? And then there was a comment to that from the audience. Communication with upper management is easiest if you talk in their language, money. What do you say about that? Like, how do you approach this business case question from Atlassian's side?
Yeah, so my preview is I like talk to enterprises all the time, right? I'm the head of enterprise, so I get to present to the CIOs and the VP of IT, and the first question is, Bala, tell me the money. Why should we move to the cloud? What is it in it for us, right? It's great. You're building all of these tools and capability for our engineers and developers. At the end of the day, the total cost of ownership, when you look at it and you break down the elements of the total cost of ownership, cloud is a clear winner, right? Because what happens with the cloud is not only you're getting the latest and the greatest edition of the cloud products, you don't have to be in the business of managing your infrastructure and having all of the administrative capabilities to manage these tools and software and processes around it, right? So when we kind of do the calculation and look at it, when you add it up, so there's a lot of hidden cost when you have to manage the infrastructure for yourself. And people sometimes don't look at it carefully. They say, yeah, we've been doing it for a while. But when you actually peel the onion, you quickly figure out that you are paying for all of the infrastructure, security cost, networking cost, like the data center cooling, so on and so forth. And then also the agility is going to be much lower, right? Because if you're running something within your own server and data center, somebody needs to keep it up to date, need to get the latest version of the software and upgrade that. So when you kind of take both of those options in terms of the pure cost and also the value add, I think some of the things I've highlighted in the presentation are things like pragmatic AI and smarts. Well, if you want to introduce smarts and AI into your product, you have to be cloud native, because we are able to collect the aggregate behavior across all of our users. Of course, we anonymize all of that information, but data is what fuels your AI and your machine learning kind of strategies. And that's important. And those are the capabilities that will become more and more relevant in our cloud products, right? And that fuels automation or your analytics kind of capabilities. So net, when you look at it, there's two parts of it, pure cost and the value. And when you add all of that, the total cost of ownership of the cloud turns out to be much, much better than running something on your own.
Cool. If I can just add a little bit on this, we actually look at this more generally from a DevOps platform perspective. And we have concluded the same, although we infer it from three different factors, like how quickly do you recover your investment from making the move, and then what's your total return of that investment? Like if you chip in $1 for the change, how many dollars are you going to cash out from that? And then final question, the net present value is how much that investment is going to be worth for you when you factor in all the benefits, not only the lower costs, plus all of the value of all the enablers. And we created a DevOps platform business case calculator, which is very, very simple approach to getting started with 7 factors, plug them in and see how the business case moves, and then reach out to the specialist to talk more about that. So check out the chat for the reference and play around with that. A very, very valid question.
So from sort of in the theme of the crossing the chasm idea, if there is a young engineer or a developer in the audience who now thinks about how do I make this calculation and this money like argument and data argument, could you give like 2 or 3 tips for someone who is trying to convince their superiors on making this change? What do you do?
Yeah, the first thing is just go to the Atlassian website. There's a ton of materials, and we have a section there on total cost of ownership, and there is a calculator, right? But that's only the beginning. I think you need to understand your environment, right? Like all the framework and tools are generic. They'll kind of give you a broad strokes on the value, but you need to actually do the calculation for yourself, right? And use that as a starting point. And then once you build the model, it becomes quite evident. And there are lots of resources that Atlassian can provide, and also partners like LIFECYCLE, right? And we can work together with our customers, help kind of like build the business case to go back and prove to the management why cloud is a much better platform for the future. In fact, like today, it's a much better platform today going into the future.
Wonderful.
Before we let them loose, I just want to remind you that when we come back, there's going to be a speech, and then there is going to be the Agile conversations coming up. And Jeffrey and Squirrel, when I talked to them in a podcast, I asked how could an audience get most out of it, and they asked to bring a sheet of paper with a few different colors of pens. We are excitedly looking forward what kind of homework they're going to give to participants. But as you head out for the break, remember to pick up a few pens and paper with you on your way back.
Sweet. See you later. Thank you.